You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it fucked him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, you know, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So
The entertainment world has seen scandals before. It has seen broken friendships, public meltdowns, secret betrayals, and careers destroyed overnight. But every once in a while, a story comes along that feels darker than ordinary Hollywood drama, a story that leaves people silent instead of shocked. And that's exactly what happened when Joe Rogan reportedly reacted to what many are calling Justin Bieber's most chilling confession yet about Sean Combs. Nobody expected Rogan to get emotional. Usually he's loud, opinionated, and impossible to rattle. But this time was different. The mood inside the studio felt heavy from the very beginning.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini. And
well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house. And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not. Trump thing.
Rogan paused more than usual. His voice sounded strained. At moments, he looked completely lost for words. As details about Bieber's painful experiences started unfolding, the entire conversation shifted from celebrity gossip into something much deeper, something heartbreaking. For years, fans saw Justin Bieber as the lucky teenager who achieved every dream imaginable: the fame, the money, the sold-out arenas, the screaming fans.
Different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious it is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile in your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
But what nobody understood was how much darkness existed behind those smiling photos and viral performances. Rogan reflected on this part with visible sadness. He explained that people often forget how young Bieber really was during those early years. The public saw confidence and success, but behind closed doors was a teenager still trying to figure out life. And that's where Diddy entered the picture. At first, the relationship was presented as harmless mentorship, industry veterans guiding the young superstar. Public appearances made it seem playful and supportive. Old interviews showed Diddy talking about Bieber like a younger brother. Fans laughed at the clips back then. Nobody thought much of them.
You have them come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
So you were all sitting in a room somewhere?
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy?
you better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing.
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts. Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of man he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, yeah, show your cock, or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR,
Hey,
man.
by the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher, is somebody...
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private.
We had seen these videos of Justin Bieber being handed over to him at age 15. Great job. Great job. And for his weekend with Diddy camp. I mean, we don't know, but it certainly looks like Justin Bieber is still suffering the fallout from whatever happened to him as he was coming up the ranks of the music world. It really doesn't seem worth it. I mean, I'd love to hear more from his camp about what's real, because it's clear he's suffering. We just don't know from what. And what mother out there would give her 15-year-old boy over to a grown man who's in the rap industry for a weekend with Diddy camp without other adult supervision?
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. Yeah, rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one? And he was like, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again, and he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like, what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
But years later, those same videos started looking very different. Rogan reportedly replayed some of those old moments during the discussion, and the atmosphere became uncomfortable almost immediately. He pointed out how strange some of the interactions felt in hindsight. The jokes, the comments, the body language. Things that once seemed harmless suddenly carried a darker feeling. What shook Rogan the most was the realization that Bieber was still a child during all of it. He reportedly said something that left listeners speechless. When a kid becomes famous, people stop seeing the kid part. That sentence lingered heavily throughout the conversation.
Oh, I gotta feel that experience. I'm coming back. Happy New Year!
Woo! Just like it wasn't seminal fluid that Justin Bieber was wiping away from his mouth when he brought his face up from Odell Beckham's groin in a club with Trey Songz on the lookout.
The images are there.
Diddy-fied. Hashtag no Diddy.
Hashtag no Diddy.
As Bieber's career exploded, stories about wild celebrity parties and secret gatherings became normal in Hollywood circles. Whispers followed Diddy's name for years. Lavish events, strict privacy rules, phones taken away, powerful celebrities everywhere. Rumors constantly floated around the industry, but very few people dared to openly question anything. According to insiders, Bieber often appeared uncomfortable during certain public appearances connected to that world. Fans noticed moments where his smile looked forced. Interviews became awkward whenever certain names were mentioned. Some clips even showed him going unusually quiet in situations where he normally would have joked around. At the time, people ignored those signs. But now, many fans are revisiting those moments with completely different eyes. Rogan reportedly became emotional while discussing how easily warning signs get dismissed when money and fame are involved. He explained that people around young stars often prioritize careers over protection. As long as the tours continue and the money flows, uncomfortable truths stay buried. And then came the confession that reportedly changed everything. Details surrounding Bieber's alleged private revelations remain surrounded by speculation online, but the emotional weight behind the story clearly affected Rogan deeply. He described Bieber as someone carrying years of unresolved pain, not anger, pain. That distinction mattered. Rogan explained that trauma doesn't always look dramatic from the outside. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion. Sometimes it looks like isolation. Sometimes it looks like someone smiling publicly while quietly falling apart inside. Suddenly, Bieber's past behavior started making more sense to many people. The emotional breakdowns, the reckless moments, the sleepless nights, the public meltdowns. For years, tabloids mocked him relentlessly. Headlines painted him as spoiled or unstable. People laughed at his struggles without asking what could have caused so much pain in someone so young. But Rogan reportedly pushed back hard against that narrative. He argued that society failed Bieber long before Bieber ever failed himself. And then came the twist nobody expected. Instead of focusing only on Diddy, Rogan reportedly turned his frustration toward the entire entertainment system. He questioned how so many adults could stand around a vulnerable teenager and never step in. Managers, executives, publicists, fellow celebrities, everybody seemed happy to enjoy Bieber's success, but where were they when he needed real protection? That question hung heavily in the air, because the truth is, child stars often grow up in environments where trust becomes impossible. Everyone wants something from them: money, influence, attention, fame. And when kids become billion-dollar brands, their emotional well-being often becomes secondary. Rogan reportedly admitted that this realization hit him harder than expected because he started imagining Bieber not as a celebrity, but as a scared teenager trapped inside an adult world. That image completely changed the tone of the conversation. At one point, Rogan supposedly paused for several seconds before speaking again. His voice reportedly cracked as he talked about how lonely Bieber's life must have felt during those years, surrounded by people, yet emotionally isolated, famous everywhere, but protected nowhere.
I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
Wow. I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful face. All right, now it's time to...
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Answer Justin Bieber.
I have like little girl fans. I can't go.
Okay, imagine that wasn't a problem.
No, I got believe. Hey, this is a brand new.
Has your mom given you the sex talk yet? I mean, like, I really don't want to have that conversation with my mother. Yeah. Like I've kind of had it with my father. You want to hear? Oh, really? See, my parents never gave me the sex talk. Okay.
That last one is really just the sickest, asking a young teenage boy whether or not he's had the sex talk. Like, he's doing a media hit on a radio, and she's asking him as one of the questions, like, have you had the sex talk? This is Hollywood.
And what nobody expected was how much public reaction started shifting afterward.
Fans flooded social media with support for Bieber. Old interviews resurfaced online. Clips that once seemed funny suddenly looked disturbing. People started analyzing moments where Bieber appeared nervous, withdrawn, or emotionally drained around certain industry figures. The internet began connecting dots. Even former critics started admitting they may have judged Bieber too harshly over the years. Because when you look back at his journey now, it becomes impossible to ignore how much pressure he carried from such a young age. He wasn't just growing up, he was growing up under constant surveillance while navigating relationships with some of the most powerful people in entertainment. Rogan reportedly emphasized another heartbreaking point during the discussion. Trauma doesn't disappear just because someone becomes rich or famous. In fact, fame often traps people inside their pain because the world expects them to keep performing no matter what they're feeling privately. That may explain why Bieber spent years appearing emotionally exhausted. There were periods where he seemed completely disconnected from the spotlight. Fans noticed drastic personality changes. Interviews became shorter. Public appearances became rare. At times, he looked like someone desperately trying to escape a life that once looked perfect from the outside. And yet, despite everything, Bieber kept going. That's the part that seemed to affect Rogan the most. He reportedly called Bieber's survival a form of strength people don't fully understand. Because surviving emotional damage while the entire world watches is different from surviving privately. Every breakdown becomes entertainment. Every mistake becomes viral. Every cry for help becomes a meme. And still, Bieber found ways to move forward. Through marriage, through faith, through stepping away from toxic environments, through trying to rebuild himself piece by piece. But scars don't vanish overnight. Rogan reportedly acknowledged that healing from deep emotional wounds can take years, especially when those wounds began during childhood. He said many people underestimate how deeply early experiences shape a person's identity. And maybe that's why this story resonates with so many people right now. Because underneath the celebrity headlines is something painfully human. A young boy entered an industry filled with powerful adults. That boy became world famous before he fully understood the dangers surrounding him. And now, years later, people are finally starting to question what really happened behind the scenes. The emotional impact of these revelations stretches far beyond Justin Bieber alone. For many former child stars, Bieber's story feels painfully familiar. The pressure to stay perfect, the fear of disappointing millions of fans, the loneliness that comes with fame, the constant manipulation by adults who claim to care while quietly benefiting from your success. Rogan reportedly became especially emotional while discussing how childhood trauma can follow someone for decades. He explained that people often judge the symptoms without understanding the source: addiction, anxiety, isolation, emotional instability. Sometimes those struggles begin with wounds nobody ever sees publicly. And that's what made the Bieber situation feel so tragic. Because the signs may have been there all along. Fans remembered moments where Bieber openly talked about depression, trust issues, and feeling emotionally lost. Back then, many dismissed those interviews as celebrity drama, but now those same words carry a completely different weight. Even Bieber's relationships appeared affected over the years. Friends came and went, public feuds exploded unexpectedly. His marriage faced constant scrutiny from outsiders who didn't understand the emotional baggage he was carrying privately. Fame gave him everything materially, but emotionally, it may have taken far more than people realized. Rogan reportedly admitted that hearing Bieber's alleged confession forced him to rethink the entire culture surrounding child celebrities. Society celebrates young stars for their success, but rarely asks what they sacrifice to achieve it. Childhood, privacy, trust, safety, normalcy. Those things disappear quickly once fame enters the picture. And sometimes the damage stays hidden for years. That's why this story hit such a deep emotional nerve online. People weren't just reacting to celebrity gossip anymore. They were confronting the uncomfortable reality that fame can sometimes become a prison disguised as a dream. By the end of the discussion, Rogan reportedly looked emotionally drained. Gone was the usual podcast energy. Gone were the jokes and loud reactions. Instead, there was silence, heavy silence. Then he reportedly said something simple that stayed with listeners long after the conversation ended. He was just a kid, not a superstar, not a brand, not an empire. A kid. And maybe that's the part the world forgot for far too long. Justin Bieber's story is no longer just about fame or music. It's about survival, about what happens when enormous success collides with vulnerability at a dangerously young age. It's about the hidden cost of growing up in an industry that often protects profits faster than people. But here's what makes this story even more powerful. Despite everything, Bieber is still standing. After the pressure, after the public humiliation, after years of emotional struggles, after carrying pain most people can't even imagine, he's still here, trying to heal, trying to rebuild, and trying to find peace. That doesn't erase the past, but it proves something important. People can survive even the darkest chapters of their lives. And maybe that's why Rogan broke down the way he did. Because beneath all the headlines and controversy was the heartbreaking image of a young boy who needed protection and never truly got it. Now, the world is finally listening, and this time, the silence around these stories may finally be starting to break. And as this story begins to settle into silence, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Behind every headline, behind every viral clip, behind every shocking confession that shook the internet, there is a human being who had to live through it all. Not a character, not a rumor, a real person carrying real pain in real time while the whole world watched and judged from a distance. What makes Justin Bieber's journey so haunting is not just the fame, not just the controversy, but the timing. He was thrown into a world of adults when he was still learning who he was. He was praised like a superstar, but treated like he already understood everything. And somewhere along the way, the childhood he was supposed to live quietly disappeared under flashing lights and constant pressure. Joe Rogan's emotional reaction to all of this didn't come from nowhere. It came from realization. The realization that sometimes the entertainment industry doesn't just create stars, it consumes them. And when those stars start breaking down years later, people call it drama instead of asking what caused the damage in the first place. But maybe the most powerful part of this entire story is not the fall, it's the survival. Because despite everything he has been through, Justin Bieber is still here, still standing, still trying to heal in public while carrying wounds that were formed in private. And that alone says something most people don't talk about enough. Survival itself can be an act of strength. There are moments in life where fame means nothing, where money cannot fix what was emotionally broken, where applause cannot silence memories, and where the only real victory is learning how to keep going when everything inside you feels exhausted. And that's why this story stays with people, because it forces a question that nobody can easily answer. How many young voices in this industry are going through the same thing right now, silently, without the world ever knowing? Maybe that's the uncomfortable truth this entire conversation leaves behind.
Not just about celebrities, not just about scandals, but about responsibility, about awareness, about how quickly the world turns gifted kids into global products and then forgets to protect the person underneath. Joe Rogan's emotional breakdown wasn't just about Justin Bieber. It was about regret. It was about realizing how many signs were ignored for years. And it was about wishing the system that builds these stars also cared enough to protect them when the spotlight becomes too heavy. But as this video comes to an end, one thing is clear. Stories like this don't end neatly. They don't wrap up with perfect closure, because healing doesn't work that way. Healing is slow, it's messy, and sometimes it takes a lifetime. All we can do is pay attention, listen more carefully, judge less quickly, and remember that behind every famous face is a human story we may never fully understand. If this story made you think differently, if it made you feel something deeper than just entertainment, then don't just scroll away. Take a second to like this video. It helps more people see these stories and keeps the conversation alive. And if you want more emotional, real, and untold Hollywood stories like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because there are always more truths hidden behind the fame, waiting to be uncovered. And sometimes all it takes is one story to change the way we see the entire world.